Thank you, gentlemen. This evening I have the distinguished honor to introduce our dinner guest, Major Chris Kinney. He currently serves with the West Virginia Army National Guard as part of the Special Operations Detachment Europe. He began his career by enlisting in the Army in the fall of 1990. In 1991, he was admitted to the USMA Preparatory School and subsequently attended U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And upon graduation, he was commissioned as an infantry officer. During his active duty time, Major Kinney served as a rifle platoon leader, mortar platoon leader, company executive officer, adjutant, and assistant operations officer. He transferred to the West Virginia Army National Guard in 2002 and served a one-year tour in Iraq as an intelligence officer and battery commander. After a break in service, Major Kinney returned to the West Virginia Army National Guard to serve with the state's Officer Candidate School, which he commanded from 2011 until 2015. Major Kinney has been awarded the Bronze Star, Army Commendation Medals, Army Achievement Medals, Combat Action Badge, Expert Infantryman Badge, Ranger Tab, and Parachutes Tab. Ladies and gentlemen, your speaker for this evening, Major Chris Kinney.
Definitely an honor to be here. Corey asked me a little bit ago if I attended Boyd State when I was in high school, which was a long time ago. I am from Bridgeport, so I am a West Virginia boy. I am a Mountaineer through and through. But I did have to admit to him that there was absolutely no way that I was the kind of student that any organization would send to Boyd State. So for me to come back 30-some years later as a speaker for you guys, it's quite the turnaround. So it is definitely an honor to be here. Definitely appreciate the invitation. Your governor, Connor Wickline, and I have a little bit of a connection that he just found out a little bit ago. His father and I worked together at the FBI here in Clarksburg, West Virginia. And because I know his daddy so well, we've been working, like I said, for a little over 5 years together. I have a good understanding of why it is Connor got elected as governor, the charisma and the leadership that he takes, because he definitely takes after his mother. Not his daddy. No doubt about it. Now, I told his daddy I was going to say that, and he wholeheartedly agrees that it comes from your mom. But, congratulations to you for that opportunity. Congratulations to all of you for having this opportunity to come down here and participate in something like this, where you're learning about what it takes to be a good citizen of our great country. Somebody else we worked with told me this morning that Connor was interviewed last night with the news, and I want to take a quote from that, and we want to talk about your quote as part of this speech tonight. So this speech is all dedicated to your interview last night, Connor. This is what your governor said. I think that this program and all of us citizens are a little beacon of light to shine out into the community and really across the country to show that there really are some kids interested in democracy and running the country someday. A little beacon of light. This country needs some big beacons of light. And you're exactly the kind of men that we need to grow up to be beacons of light. But are you guys prepared to take that challenge of being a beacon of light in your community, in your state, and in this nation? It's a lot to ask, but can you do it? That's not very convincing. Well, look, if that's something you're going to do, there's a few things that need to come beforehand, some things you need to work on. First, I want to ask you, what kind of man are you going to be? Now, I'm not asking you what kind of job you're going to have, where you're going to work, where you're going to live, how much money you're going to earn, how much stuff you're going to amass over your lifetime. I'm asking you, what kind of man are you going to be? What kind of person of integrity are you going to be? Are you going to be a man of honor? Are you going to be a man of integrity? Are you going to be someone with intestinal fortitude? are you going to have that strong moral fiber? Because it's my guess that if you're here today, it's because you want to be a leader. But you can't just jump right into leadership. You've got to build that foundation upon which you stand, that strong foundation. And that's got to be that strong, moral, ethical foundation, being a man of character. How many times have you seen on the news a national leader fall because of a moral failure, an ethical failure, a crisis of conscience? I can tell you none of them went into those positions intending to do something like that. But more than likely, they didn't build the foundation that they needed. You need to build that foundation. And until you have that foundation, until you know who you are as a man, you're not ready to be a leader. You also need to learn how to be a good follower. That may not make sense, but it is absolutely imperative. First, you need to learn how to follow before you can know how to lead. Because if you don't know how to follow, you don't know how things really get done. It's the followers who do the work. If you move into a leadership position too soon without that moral fiber, without that understanding of how to get the work done, you're going to be lost as a leader. And more than likely, you're not going to be prepared, and you're going to take on too much responsibility too soon and set yourself up for failure. One of the things that's helped me more than anything else as an officer in the United States Army is the time that I spent as an enlisted man, as a private, at the very bottom, scrubbing toilets, scrubbing floors, digging ditches, humping with a rucksack on my back for mile after mile after mile, knowing what it was like to be in the dirt. Then I had a better understanding when I became a leader, when I asked my men, when I asked my women to do something. I knew what I was asking them to do. I could empathize with them. I'd been there before. Learn to be a good follower. Also, do not be afraid to fail. Mr. Wickline, let me ask you, were you nervous about running for governor?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, he says. But you did it anyways, right? Now, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but I'm guessing there are probably a few of you, at least out there, who thought about running for governor but didn't. It's because you didn't think you could win. You're afraid you might get embarrassed by doing it. Don't be. You can't be. Now is the time to fail. And I'm not telling you, don't go back and tell your parents that this guy got up there and told you to look for opportunities to fail. What I'm saying is go out there and do those things that are hard, that you think you might not be able to achieve. Because you might just surprise yourself. You may achieve the unachievable. You're probably a lot stronger than you ever thought you were. I stand before you now as a major in the United States Army, a graduate of the United States Military Academy. I almost flunked out of WVU. I had a 0.9 grade point average. Try to beat that. Huh? That's impressive, isn't it? Yes. Don't try to do that. Heck, I almost didn't even graduate high school because I didn't do a term paper for English. I wasn't the best student. Again, that's why I didn't come here when I was in high school. But obviously I grew up and I needed that time to grow up. But it was those failures that taught me that, I had to make a change. And things turned around. The Army helped me out a lot in growing up. Coming to know the Lord helped me out a lot in growing up. Then I had the opportunity. The Army sent me to the United States Military Academy Preparatory School. And it's formed as a battalion. You guys know what a battalion is now, it looks like, from the way you guys are forming up out there. I was given the honor to be selected as the battalion commander for the prep school. I was in charge of all my fellow students. And you know what? I was pretty bad. I look back now at some of the decisions I made, some of the speeches that I gave up in front of my fellow students. It was embarrassing. It really was. But those lessons I learned helped form me to become a better leader. Don't be afraid to fail. Go after those challenges. Fight for those things that you think are right. Fight for those things that you want. If you fail along the way, that's fine. figure out why, grow from it, get stronger, get better, and achieve the next time. You can't be afraid to fail. And if you want to be a leader, you've got to be prepared to serve. The worst leaders are those who think the whole purpose of leadership is so you can be up there in charge and stand with your chest out and tell people what to do and be the man because you're in charge, you got the authority. That is not what leadership is about. That has absolutely nothing to do with leadership. Yeah, you'll get to tell people what to do. Yeah, you'll have to make decisions and give commands. But leading is about serving. You, more than anybody else in the organization, are the ones who are you're the one who is serving other people. The people you're leading, they're serving the organization. You're serving them. It shouldn't be your goal as a leader to accomplish things and achieve things. It should be your goal as a leader to help others accomplish things and achieve things. You as a leader are the ones who set the conditions for them to succeed. You are the ones as a leader who coach them and mentor them and develop them so they can become the best person they're capable of being. That is the charge of leadership. If your organization fails, it's because you didn't put the things in place that needed to be there. You didn't prepare your people properly. You can't put the blame down on them. If you want to be a leader, you got to be prepared for the onus, the burden that is leadership. If you don't like to be criticized, you better not be a leader. Because you will get a lot of criticism. More often than not, you'll hear about what you're doing wrong than what you're doing right. Are you sure you want that? You better know. Because if you don't know the answer to that and you're not prepared for that criticism, you're in for a pretty nasty wake-up call. But let me tell you this. As difficult as that may sound, there is nothing more rewarding than leadership. When I had been in a position where I didn't have people to lead and I was just responsible for myself, it was difficult to be motivated because I learned what it was like to lead a group and see them achieve, see them succeed, to see them come together and do something that they never thought they could do, and to see the joy and the elation on their faces. Nothing tops that. Nothing that I could do as an individual will ever top the joy of seeing what other people could do because of my leadership, because of the way I was able to help them along. And I've seen that in other leaders too, when they've done wonderful things and they say, look at what those people did. I had nothing to do with it really, it was all them. It was all them. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to take on that burden of leadership? In your quote, you seem to refer to more of a political thing, to support the democracy in this country. While that's important, we do need good leaders of character in our elected positions. But you do not have to be an elected official. You do not need to be in a public office to be that beacon of light. The beacon of light that we need are those that are in the community, shining that light on what is right, on what is good, on making a difference in your community, making a difference in your family, making a difference in your neighborhood. Are you one who's going to make things better around you, or are you one who's just going to go with the flow and do a lot of complaining? Connor, I hope you're right. I hope there are a lot of beacons out here. Our world needs beacons. And this is a great training ground to learn how to be a beacon of light. Be a man of character. Be a man who's willing to serve. Be a man who's willing to stand up and do that harder right when everybody else wants to do that easier wrong. Stand up and be a man. Thank you.
speak to you all this evening.
Did I hear that right? Was that a goat Navy beat Army? Let me tell you this. You will never be a beacon. Amen?